Hi there, we're here again, the Pink Sofa Conversation, this time with Anne-Marie. How are you, Anne-Marie?
I'm very well, Alicia. Thank you for having me on.
No, thank you for joining us. Anne-Marie and I, we are like some of the other people that have been in the Pink Sofa with me, part of this entrepreneur little network group, and that's how I found out about her business. And she's supporting kick-ass ladies with very good ideas as a full-time job. Tell us, Anne-Marie, how is your everyday life? What do you do professionally?
Well, so I support, just like you said, kick-ass ladies. I love it. I like to call them badass fempreneurs, like we all are, because I suppose I personally resonate, obviously being a fempreneur, but I support them in creating more impact, income, and influence. So I personally love working on businesses that are going to create impact in the world, and I love women who strive for that as well, to create impact. Like, that's what it's all about, isn't it? So that when I suppose you get to the end of your days, you're like, oh, I created impact. And it's nice to be able to do that in business as well as in your life.
Yeah, and you and I were discussing that you actually have a background as a coach. I guess the psychology of helping women, that we many times have this all complexes or ways of seeing the world where we're maybe not believing in ourselves. How is it, and why are you so passionate about this specific angle of helping women?
Well, you hit the nail on the head there, Alita, because really, if you look at it statistically, when you ask women how they feel, how confident they feel about achieving something, we always put ourselves down. We always underestimate ourselves. And on the flip side, our male counterparts usually sometimes overestimate themselves, or can do, not all the time, but they just have, in general, it's not a bad thing, it's a good thing. In general, they seem to have more confidence in what they can achieve. And women, for some reason, we tend to underestimate what we can achieve. And obviously, we're just as equally paired. I believe that we can, once we set our mind to something, we can achieve it. And once you really plan it out and strategize it, anything's achievable in the long run.
Yeah, I guess it's a little bit almost like I was discussing today with colleagues about the concept of re-onboarding. When someone leaves the organization and then they come back to your organization, it's almost like for you, re-onboard women to believe in themselves, change a little bit their perception and their role in society, maybe.
Yeah, 100%. I do believe that I always say to my clients, as a child, we're made to believe in magic and, let's say, the tooth fairy and all these magical things, anything is achievable. We say to children, you can achieve anything that you put your mind to. Yeah. And then somewhere along the teenage years, or maybe in our early 20s, we start to doubt ourselves. These kind of mindsets start to creep in that maybe we can't achieve, we can't do that. Who am I to do this? I definitely can't do that. I can't speak out, or I'm not maybe qualified enough to speak on this topic. And it really is, like you said, it's like a relearning to really appreciate who you are, utilize the experience, where you've come from, your background, and just really have faith that you can achieve what you want to achieve.
Yeah. And really what you're doing is almost like a social service, in the sense that you're helping people believe in themselves and maybe be a little bit more adventurous in their business structure. Now with coronavirus, people being at home, moment of reflection, I guess that you have a lot of old clients maybe knocking again on your door saying, Anne-Marie, help me. How can we build the business and find a new way, and new people wondering how they can be effective in a more digital world?
You said it, Lita, and I think we were discussing this just before the call. I do have old clients coming back and going, now, how can I pivot my business to be, I suppose, more online in this virtual space? And also new clients who are just using this time, and I'm so impressed by everybody who is using this time as an opportunity. Obviously, out there in the world, there is a lot of sadness, and there's a lot of things happening that we have no control over. But if we choose to focus on them, then that's what our focus will be on. If we choose to focus on our little corner, what we can do in our businesses and how we can move forward and in turn create that impact, And I think it's just a key to moving forward and making the most out of this hibernation or isolation time as such.
I have a friend of mine, she calls it vacations, and I'm like, yes, if that works for you, let's fake it. Let's say we're all on vacation, and then it's, I think, building up resilience and not being too scared about the uncertainty is the not knowing, right? So you help people put in structure, be strategic, maybe put the futuristic hat on and try to figure out how to get out of this new challenge.
Exactly. Like I do have a lot of my clients coming to me with, and you know, sometimes the media can give us this perception that the economy is on a downturn and you know there aren't going to be clients out there, you're not going to get those sales in the door. But realistically, like if you're looking, it's how you view it. If you look at this as an opportunity, maybe there are services that you haven't offered before, such as virtual or online services that you can then utilize to move your business forward and to accommodate your clients where they're at, I suppose. Yeah. But it really is how you look at it. If you look at this like it's going to be the end of your business, then it quite possibly could be. If you look at this like, oh, this is an amazing opportunity for my business, for the services I offer, maybe I can, or maybe for new services that I could offer, then that's what it will be as well.
Yeah. I guess it's also the idea that if you've been able to build one service, a company one time, why wouldn't you be able to do it for a second time? So even if you have to really rethink and reconsider everything that you have done so far and maybe change industry or change your way, it's absolutely possible. So on that note, Anne-Marie, can you give us a couple of tips, something that, you know, spontaneously for people that are in that situation? And of course they can contact you. We will put all the data and like information in the description so they can have some real one-to-one coaching and supporting and business strategy review with you, Anne-Marie. But can you give us a couple of tips, generic ideas?
Of course. Well, on that point, Alita, I am offering a free complimentary business strategy session to any of your listeners who would like to avail of that. During this time, I think we can all give back. So that's my way of giving back.
Thank you.
So you will pass on my contact details so I can offer through that. But my main tip would be like, listen to your audience. Like ask your audience, ask your clients, ask your past clients, ask your new clients, what is it they want? Because like 99% of the time, what we think our clients or our audience want is not actually what they want. So my number one strategy would be go out there, whether it's true, whether you need to do a survey and ask what they want. So for me personally, when I did this recently, a lot of what I seen was that they want goal setting, they want structure, they want to be able to see where they are going in the short term and in the long term, and then to be held accountable on that, which is basically what I do with my clients. A second thing that I would say is to really rethink, as you said, look at the strategy that you have now, look at what works in your business and look at what doesn't work in your business. So try and use this as an opportunity to stand back from your business and have an objective point of view over your business, over your life as your business affects your life, and say, well, what is working and what isn't working? And then take what is working and see if you can push it even further. Like, how could you further that? And really taking that time out, which is not something that when you're in business, especially as an entrepreneur, fempreneur, you're encouraged to do, because you're always so busy. We're always so busy working on the business and in the business, or in the business as such, that we don't step back and look at the business and think about, okay, how can I move this forward? So that would be my second one. And the third one, I suppose, what I'm sharing with all my clients, especially just during this isolation period, is routine. As human beings, we are creatures of habit, right? And I'm sure you'll agree with me that on a day where you get up and you don't start the day off in that routine, then lunchtime comes around and you've nothing done, and then the afternoon is there and you need to have maybe a meal prepared for dinner, or you haven't even got out to have your walk, so the day gets away with you. So I always say, set your structure out, whether it's the night before or that morning. State what you want to do at what time, and that structure will really help you achieve what you want to do in this time.
Yeah, I think the structure advice is the best advice, because it's quite overwhelming for some of the people that never worked at home to suddenly spend so many hours, and you fall into unproductivity, but also to allow yourself to have some time out and say, I don't have to be producing all the time because I'm only one person and I also deserve to have a little bit of a break. So that's thank you so much. So Anne-Marie, to finish up, is there any exciting project, something coming up on your front that you want to share with us and give us a sneak peek?
Yes, of course. I haven't announced it yet, so you're getting it firsthand. I am going to be launching a client accelerator. So for everybody who is working from home, like I said, in a service-based business, and you are maybe feeling anxious about where your sales are going to come from or where your next clients are going to come from, then this is a challenge that I'm going to be running in the first week of May to help you really position yourself so that you are there and you are visible to your main high-ticket clients. So that will be launched on the 1st of May, but I will also share the link with you after this. So everything.
Fantastic. That's great. So that's a great opportunity for people to connect with you, Anne-Marie. Also, the time that you were saying that you would offer to the people listening to this video space to help them in their business. I know we have a lot of entrepreneurs and a lot of women with great ideas, and you just need a little bit of advice in the right direction. Thanks, Anne-Marie, and we keep updated with all your coming projects on your website and on your social media.
You're so welcome, Alita. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you to everybody who watches. Sending you loads of love.
Thanks.
Speak soon.